Morning, YouTube. Yep, that's an RV park. This is where we ended up last night. We were just headed through. We were actually headed up towards Yellowstone. Needed a place to stop. We called. Their rates were very inexpensive, other than some road noise. It's a pretty nice RV park we got here. It got pretty packed, and it's amazing. Everybody left this morning, other than, well, not everybody left, but a good amount of people left. So we got some exploring to do today.
We're going on an adventure. Where are we going?
Got the doggies all ready.
Okay, today we are in, I forgot the name, Brigham City, Utah, at an RV park. We were just going to stay one night, but then we found there was a couple things to do. We're going to Golden Spike Historical
Monument
site, where the Transcontinental Railroad was complete. So we're going to check that out, and then also a bird refuge. It's like a scenic drive.
And anybody that watched the show Hell on Wheels,
Great show.
Great show. I think that was on AMC.
Yeah.
Right? On AMC. That was about them building the railroad, the Union Pacific, and forget what the other side where even in the show, that was part of the show where the two trains met, or the two lines of track when they met. So that's what we're going to see. It should be pretty exciting, actually. Alright guys, so here we are. This is part of the park. This is a trail. The Big Phil Trail, this is called. And what this is, as I could show right here on the map, we had a better look at it down the road, but it was a big crossing that brought the two mountains together, where they built I believe it was a 400-foot railroad trestle connecting the two mountains together. So what we have here is a 1.5 mile round trip. Leads to two of the most significant railroad construction features of the promontory area: the Central Pacific's Big Phil and Union Pacific's Big Trestle site. Trail's easy to walk thanks to 2% grade limit set by the Pacific Railroad Act of 1862. Should be a pretty interesting walk. Beautiful scenery around. It's nice early in the morning, so it's not hot. We'll go take a look. So this is pretty cool. We are walking along the historic railroad bed. Alright guys, here we are. This is the scene. of the Big Fill, or the site of the Big Fill, should I say. Now, I didn't know this walking up here. But along that way, you could actually see that was the fill site. And then, see if I could point it out in the camera. Over here, that's where the one side of the trestle was. And then right down there is the side of the other trestle. So imagine back in the 1800s, a big railroad bridge being built there. That was from what the Union Pacific did. The Central Pacific built the Big Fill here, which we didn't know this coming up here. And it says, competing for fame and money, the two railroads constructed over 250 miles of parallel grade. Here, the Central Pacific built the Big Fill before Congress gave final construction rights to the Union Pacific. Afterwards, the Union Pacific sold the tracks through here to the Central Pacific, which then moved the road from the trestle to the fill. 250 teams of horses and 500 men worked nearly 2 months to complete the Big Fill, 500 feet long and 170 feet deep. It required almost 10,000 yards of material. And it's pretty easy to see in the aerial photo. Right over here somewhere is where we're standing. Or no, probably here is where we're standing. And then this used to be an old railroad trestle.
It's 1969 this picture was taken.
It's pretty interesting to see from the aerial photo there. It really gives an idea of what they did. Pretty cool. There's another look at the scenery around. Very, very nice. Very nice. Alright, so here's just what that trestle looked like back in the 1800s. And it says here on this, lacking time to fill the ravine before you, Union Pacific crews built the bridge shown in the photo. One reporter said that nothing he could write would convey an idea of the flimsy character of that structure. You can still see the abutments, and across the canyon, the bedrock shelves where the log uprights were placed. The trestle, about 400 feet long and 85 feet high, took 38 days to build. It was completed May 5th, 1869, and used for about 6 months. Afterwards, the Big Fill, just up the canyon, was used for the permanent route. Pretty cool piece of history here.
Jack. Jack.
So standing here at the end, you could look across this ravine and see it must have been some feet to build a bridge across that back in the 1800s. Here are the tracks.
I do invite you folks to give them a wave as they come by. Now the reason I invite you to give them that wave, folks, realize if you did live out here on this ranch, or the ranches that parallel the railroad, how many people do you see on any given day? Canopy behind you. careful, folks, if you have that sensitive ear. Now as they watch, folks, the fireman goes to the tender. That's the wagon in behind the locomotive. He sets the brake and he'll come down taking those chains and placing them around the rear drive wheel. Now that's kind of an emergency brake. Once he has placed those chains down, he will announce chains down, and at that time you are welcome to go up to the locomotives. But once again, for your safety, you know what's hot and what is not. We have to be careful what you touch and not to try to climb on them. There are the stands on the other side to look inside, and it'll be about a half an hour before the arrival of the 119. So feel free to spend your time looking. If you have a question, please feel free to ask, folks. I like to share stories. Well, not stories, but I like to share history.
Beautiful piece of history here.
Yep. In 1869, gentleman was talking. There were docks out here you can see in the pictures. All the freight, the luggage and everything was moved until they came up with an agreement to care for the truck. Yeah.
Pretty cool to see something like this so up close. Very beautiful. Apologize, there's lots of people around, but there's nothing you could really do about that. Quite the piece of machinery there.
Okay, good. Gentleman asked a very good question. Now, I'm not going to just go to Omaha. Folks, prior to the completion of Transcontinental Railroad, the St. Joe, Missouri is doing a wagon train. That wagon train's a 4 to 6 month journey. But we're using the animals, so we have to wait for the grass to grow. We can't wait too late in the year. You may have heard of a party that did. Their name was Donner.
Pretty cool to see this come by. We actually knew that we were coming to the visitor center. We did not know that we would see the train. Very interesting to see it come up. It's a little loud. I'll have to do some editing with the audio, but
in 7 to 10 days.
Pretty amazing to see it all restored like this, coming down the same tracks that it once did. You could see right there where those people are standing. You could see the shiny piece of wood where that's where the two sides of the tracks met from the Union Pacific and the Central Pacific. Pretty cool.